Hi everyone, you're welcome once again to Agri-connect. And for today, we are looking at the pepper industry with the help of the CEO of Tri-Solis Farms. This man has invested over $100,000 into pepper production. Let's look at what he does, what makes this different, and the way forward for pepper farmers in Ghana. Do stay with us. You're welcome once again.
Thank you.
What sparked your interest in the pepper industry in the first place?
Okay, so we as a company, we are known to be a contract fulfilling company. So we look
Okay.
out for signed contracts. If you can sign it, then we will grow it for you. So the year is 2021, and then we saw that getting to the end of the year, we had ample or excess cash
Okay.
sitting. So the right thing as a company is you keep it in there and you pay a lot of taxes. But as a good CEO, you have to utilize money. You don't leave liquid cash sitting. So we decided that why don't we had the pepper market sitting, but we hadn't tried it before. We said, why don't we try it and see how best it will go? So we started, we went for lands. Just in 2 months, we were able to finish everything and then start testing the theory because we had enough capital sitting, like I said earlier. So we used that to start the pepper. So it was one to check if it was viable,
Okay.
to also do a research on it, the challenges we'll be facing, the pros, the cons, etc., and then also to utilize some of the monies that we had. So that was what sparked our interest in.
How big is this farm and where exactly is it?
Okay, so when you type on Google at Trisolis Community Farm, we are at Abetifi. We partnered with the community. They gave us 100 acres of land, but we're able to only plow and utilize 50. But we've grown for a year and a half now,
Okay.
and then pepper is about 5 month gestation period. So you nurse it for 2 months and then you transplant it, and in another 3 months or 4 months it comes up. So yes, it was a 50-acre pepper farm, and then yeah, we have footage of it online as well for people to see. Yeah.
This is a huge farm.
Yes.
How do you keep tabs? So, what are some of the best practices you've come up with since you started a year ago?
Oh, okay. So one important thing is that we did soil sampling. So soil sampling was done by the University of Ghana, Soil and Crop Research. They came to do the good or actual soil testing. So after that was done, then we did mapping with EOS, that is satellite imaging. So there are a lot of EOS platforms out there that you can use. That is the satellite monitoring systems that you can use, and most of them are free. So for the standard things like checking the acreage of your land, checking if plants are getting water, checking if they are getting nutrition or nutrients, all that can be done using the EOS. And we saw 50. People were saying we are crazy, we couldn't do 50 because
That's huge.
even 10 acres is too much to handle for people in terms of labor. And then we're fortunate that we had a drone. So we bought a drone. The drone is a DJI Agras machine, which is an agric spraying drone. So that could do the job of about 20 people in a few hours. So that was one of the things. And then we built a habitat there where we had showers, we had electricity, we were using solar. So it made it easy for people to stay there. One of the worst things you can do as a farmer is be an absentee farmer. Like go and then because you don't have a habitat there, you don't want to stay. Just go and look at it small and go. Yes. I've had people lose a lot of money due to this. So that these are some of the practices: good accommodation, electricity, water, and then we also had the EOS, that is the satellite monitoring system, and then we also had the drones, which could do a lot of the fumigation and pesticide application.
So, talking about fumigation and pesticide application, 50 acres is very huge.
Yes.
How do you control diseases and all of that? How do you do it?
So with one aspect was that the spacing. So in plant spacing, if disease is to jump from one plant to the other, the spacing also matters. So people are doing 0.3, but we were doing 0.6.
Oh, okay.
That also helps people maneuver through with ease. So The spacing was one important aspect, and the drone. So the drone is our tool. What happens is that most people, when they want to spray their farms, the pests come and it starts gradually and then progress to other. And because people use their hands or manually to spray, it takes a longer time. But with the drone, it's so efficient, and is let me just use the word efficient, because when people are spraying, they are paid per plant. So they will do and then go to the next plant like that. And when you are not watching, immediately you turn, they run to the end of the farm, pretending that they've sprayed everything. And you are like, but you were just here, oh, so okay, baby, I've been doing that and it's done. But the drone is so good, and I won't say loyal because it's programmed. So if it stops here on this plant and the water finish or the payload finishes, it comes back to you, you fill in, and then it comes back to start exactly there. But a human will go knowing very well this is where I ended. Will skip and go to the other. So you have patches. Some are healthy, some are not healthy, and then they will take over the whole farm. And pepper is one of the less susceptible to diseases, so it doesn't have a lot of resistance to disease. So with ours, the drone, you just program it, you walk around the farm, you tap it, and then you put your hands behind. It does the work. It does everything as you are observing, doing your videos, and then it gives you feedback on that as well. So I think the drone has been the white elephant sort of in the room that helped us in terms of all our processes.
Just like you said, pepper it is not a tough plant.
Yes.
It requires a lot of care. Exactly. Was this included in your feasibility studies when you were even looking for the location of it? Yes. Is there something that makes this creative or maybe a better fit for growing pepper compared to other places?
Okay, so we wanted a place that is far away from other plants, because plants, especially vegetables, share common diseases and common traits. So we wanted a place that is far away. That's why we went to Abetifi. But distance was also a problem, because you have to drive like 3.5 hours, which was very, very inconvenience. They'll call you, boss, you have to come and see something. Driving 3 hours, sometimes the body is not willing, but the soul say, hey, we have to go because we've invested money. So one of the things I'll touch on what we've learned, on that. But one, we wanted to be away from other plants, and then we wanted a place that is cooler in terms of the temperature. It's on a plateau. It's on high level ground, so it was able to do. And then we wanted to avoid flooding. So flooding is also one of the worst enemies of pepper, especially if there's a lot of water, and then it will rot. So these are some of and the land was almost free as well. The chief just said, here, the only thing is they will steal everything, but if you can prevent them from stealing it, then you can do.
Good to go.
And that brings me to the next thing we did. We're using snakes as security on the site. Yes. So Ghanaians are superstitious. Yeah, we believe everything is evil and demons and all that. So when I went there, I had a lot of beard as well. I just shaved last week. So when I went there, he said, "Oh, you can do as many as you want. The land is almost free." But the catch is that people will steal everything you put there. Even seedlings, they will come and steal. So it is up to you. We said, how do we make sure that we saw that one of the pests of pepper was rodents. Rodents will just come and eat it for fun and just cut it down and spoil it just for fun. So we were researching, and we saw that in Thailand, for instance, they use snake fecal matter and add it to the pesticides, spray around the farm, and there are things called genetic markers. So if another dog pees here, another dog will come and smell and will know exactly what type of dog it is, whether it is bigger than him or it can beat it, etc. And this is so the same thing. Animals leave genetic markers in their fecal matter and bodily fluid. So we also did the same. So we're feeding the snakes and then using their fecal matter to spray, and we didn't have any rodents on site. But other farms were. So they were saying that we have gone for juju. And that our farm there's no rodent on our farm, but on their farm, because they had all been sacked from our place. They were having double, and they were saying, "Oh, we were the guys providing the pests to
Yeah,
their
to
farm
the
to destroy their farm."
competition.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and this is a 50-acre farm.
Yeah.
How do you even get your market? How do you, because pepper is perishable,
Yes.
highly perishable.
Yes.
So how do you get the market?
Sure. So the good thing is, like I said, we had a contract sitting.
Yeah.
So we just contacted the client and say, hey, we can do the contract this year. We are starting as a test or a pilot case. Are you still interested? He said, sure. We've signed the contract. So any day you can start, we'll be okay. And we also saw that even if we couldn't do the export, we could still dry it and sell it locally, which is what we've done with almost about 80% of it. So we saw that about the 20% for export is very picky. They will check very straight, check that there's no anomaly on it. So there's a sorting table that you sort green, and they take it green. We had the market, both local and foreign. And the good thing is that you can dry pepper and keep for almost as long as you want. And we keep it for scarcity. When the market, that is somewhere between September, October, November to February. That's where pepper is at its highest, and it's very expensive. So that's when we sell the dry ones as well.
Oh, okay. There are lots of people who want to venture into this industry, but might not. You know, when it comes to agri, people hear there's money in it, there's opportunity, venture. So they look at the money bits before they even start. Before they start, they do all the calculations, forgetting about the risks and some of the unforeseen circumstances that might show up. So, in your opinion, since you have been in this for a little while, you had a contract which made it a bit easy. Do you think this is a profitable venture people should venture into?
Yes, Greek innovatively is the future. You know, the technology boat has sailed for Africa, so we can develop softwares to outsmart the ones that they have in the West already. So, but still, even robots need vegetable oil and other parts, other things. So, definitely everyone will eat. So, Greek is definitely profitable, but it depends on what you do. With every other thing, there are risk and mitigation measures. And we, for instance, did a lot of mitigation measures, and it was a test or a pilot for us, and we learned a lot actually. So yes, it is profitable, but you need a market first. Yes.
Now let's move to some of the challenges you encountered within your 1.5 years and how you've been able to work around it to ensure that it works for your good.
Okay. So one, the land tenure system in Ghana is worse.
Okay, I mean,
you are there. You bought it legally. They are saying we won't sell it to you. But the moment they see a tractor or they see a bulldozer, everyone's saying, "Hey, then he has money." That's why he can afford this and afford that. So immediately a client or someone gives you a land, they can still think that they still want to extort more from you because now you've mobilized. They see that you have all your tanks and everything ready. They'll come and take more money. Otherwise, move. You know, that's how bad our system is. So we involve legal. So we brought in legal people. And what most Ghanaians fear is sign here for me. So if you sign here and we record you signing, they don't want to commit themselves to that. So that is what we did, exactly that. And the number one thing you have to do, get a market. And the land tenure system is poor, like I said earlier. So once you get the market, the first thing is plant on paper. Get all the nitty-gritties, look at all the metrics, and then water it down up to about 40% less. So someone will tell you, oh, in 1 acre you get this ton, you get 14 bags. But water it down and tell yourself that you are a novice, you are new. So instead of the 14 bags, you are getting half of that, and that helps with disappointment. So, and third factor, get insurance. So most people think that insurance are just for cars and personal, but we did insurance for our farm. So one time it was burning. They were burning bush at the other end, and then it was coming close. Everyone was trying to prevent their own farm. I stood somewhere. They say, "Oh, he has juju. That's why he's going to stand somewhere." And true, it didn't come to our farm, but people were risking their lives. People got burnt on their own farms. They were even doing tomatoes at the far end, and they got burnt because they were trying to risk their life for their pepper. But we knew we had cameras there, one, and then the insurance was there as well. And so we didn't worry so much about the losses. And the third thing is invest in technology. The fourth thing, invest in technology. So investing in technology means that one, you limit labor, you limit cost itself, and then you become precise. And you are able to mitigate a lot of the risk like disease, pest, flooding, and all that using the EOS. So the awesome thing is that some technologies like EOS is free. The drones, you have to invest a little bit of money in that, and then you do drones, normal drones that fly over with high precision cameras that can detect diseases using other software. So people think that these are too far-fetched and it's in the future, and it's, oh, he has money or something, that's why I know. But if you invest well, you reap the benefits of that. Yeah, people go into it saying I'm doing just 1 acre, but forgetting that 50 acres will take the same time as 1 acre. So instead of investing your time in just 1 acre and thinking I'm doing biara biara or anyhow so that I'll earn anyhow,
Something.
invest well, do proper management, and then you reap that. And the last but not the least, there are no labor anywhere. So you have to look at a very good source of labor. So we, for instance, now are relying on the prison service. We are collaborating with them. So we've moved from the Abetifi. We are almost done with the moving and coming to Ebri because of this factor. So pepper as it stands now, unlike maize or other things, do not have combine harvesters or machines to harvest them. So people have to sit
Manually.
Yes, they sit down like they are feeding a baby, pluck it one after the
Especially
other.
since they're exporting, you have to be careful with the
Exactly.
plucking.
And then it's about one is, let's take it as a human head with if a lady had rasta or something like that, you have to pluck it one after the other on the head, and there's about 32 at every given time. So if you sit here not less than 3 minutes before you move to the next plant, and 1 acre takes up to 22,000 plants.
Okay.
So worst case, 20,000 plants, and someone has to spend 3 minutes on each one. That's how labor intensive it is. There's no machinery to do it otherwise. And especially if you're harvesting green like ours for export, time is against you, labor. And now the people know that you are having issues, so they now hold you hostage. They demand for more at your dire need. So that's what we are liaising with other, and there are other cooperatives that are also interested in helping farmers harvest so that they get money for their cooperative. So these are the ones we leverage on.
So you mentioned the seasonalities involved.
Yeah.
So you export, and when it comes to exports, they don't deal with seasons.
Yes.
They are always on the move. So how do you work around this?
Yes. So that's why we have the tanks. So we actually went for custom made 10,000 liter tanks. So there are some I've seen now that there's some, but a year and a half ago there weren't any 10,000 liters, and we have 40,000 liters for that. And we do drip irrigation. So drip irrigation reduces the amount of water you use on the farm. It's very efficient because we use soluble fertilizer. We pour it in the tank, mix in, and then it goes through the pipes, making sure that you don't spray it or apply it broadcasting that you lose a lot of the fertilizer. So we used water irrigation systems, and because we are already in the snails, we're already used to irrigation, and then we had a little bit of money sitting, so we didn't hold back. We spent a lot of money on that, and also to research on commercialization. So yes, we used irrigation. Yeah.
So you keep mentioning you had a bit of money sitting down. How much money did you invest into this venture?
So the 50 acres cost us about 880,000 cedis.
Wow.
Yes. At that time, it was about $100,000.
Wow.
Yes.
$100,000. Does this include all the machineries?
The machinery, the drones, we bought even a truck from it. We bought the tanks. So one of the tanks was even around 10,000 cedis there about. We bought about 4, and then we bought smaller tanks for mixing, and the pipes, the irrigation pipes or the drips were also very expensive, and laying the pipes was also another hectic task. So all that went into it, and we also built a 5-bedroom, a wooden shed with a master bedroom and everything where I would sleep, because like I said,
You
absentee
have to be
farming
hands-on.
is no. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But they shouldn't worry about the money,
Money,
because you can still start small.
Small.
Yes, so ours, because if you take out the drone, it means that you are doing about 20% of the money off.
Okay.
If you take out the irrigation, so you can still do the irrigation, but with a different type of irrigation. Oh, sorry.
You can put it on time.
Yes, it's a alarm, so I don't know.
So you can take
Yeah.
that part again about
Yes.
the money
Okay.
bits. They shouldn't look at the money.
Okay. So they shouldn't look at the bulk of the money. So without the money, we would have still bootstrapped. So we're looking at bootstrapping. So if you take out the drone, that's about 20% of the money gone. If you take out the drip irrigation, it's also about another 20%. The tanks and everything about another 20%. So you can still do with just 20% of that money and still yield the same result by one, maybe doing the water spout system where you can do a gun system and then it goes round waters. It will give you the same result, just that you might have a little bit wastage, but it's still better if you don't have the money to do that. So the youth especially should not worry so much about the money. Once you have a market too, you can use that contract to raise capital. Yes, as the offtake, use it as a collateral to raise capital. So there are ways around it. Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much.